Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. I'm your host, Crispin Valentin. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Why? You have nothing to lose and so much to gain, like this amazing story about Vicki Rodríguez. Vicki Rodríguez is an influencer and she's worked with amazing brands, not to mention she also has a marketing degree. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe to the channel right now. And now to the episode. Vicki, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
I think one time we started following each other some way, somehow, and I went through your stuff a long time ago, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty neat. I never seen some of the places you were pointing out, and I'm like, oh, man, one of these days it will happen. And today's the day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So you drove a little bit, but again, I truly appreciate the time. Before we get started, though, we're going to get to a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you have not subscribed to the channel, now is the time, right?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
why? You're doing yourself a big favor by finding these amazing stories, these journeys of these Latinos throughout here in the United States and throughout the world. And you are definitely going to be encouraging more. So subscribe right now to the channel. ¿Estás lista, Vicki?
Yes.
¿Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Corn tortilla or flour tortillas?
Corn.
Gorditas o pupusas?
Pupusas.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Something about them.
That sounds good.
Absolutely. Jarrito, ¿de qué sabor? What flavor?
Naranja.
Naranja? Great choice. Agua de horchata, jamaica, or tamarindo?
Horchata.
Salsa verde or salsa roja? Which team are you?
Verde.
Verde. Phew, you got it. Menudo or pozole?
That one's hard. Pozole. I'll take pozole.
When you want to feel real comfy, real nice, real warm inside, what is your favorite tea to go to? Because I know you like teas.
My main one that I like to drink is ginger tea.
Ginger tea, really good for your gut, your bones, all kinds of stuff benefits.
Yes.
Try some ginger tea. Okay. Salsa Valentina, Tabasco, Cholula, or Tapatio?
Tapatio.
Your favorite place that you've gone so far that you're like, oh, this is very neat. Everybody needs to try this place out, because you've gone through many places. You can do top 3 if you want to, but one that stands out immediately when you visited, you were like, wow, blown away by the experience. What would that be?
One, I love teas. I love going to this one tea place in Dallas. It's kind of like, I want to say, I can't really remember the name. I need to think, I guess, but it has a really complicated name.
Isn't that what area around the Dallas downtown? What area?
I want to say it's not downtown. It's more in the uptown.
So if you know a real, like, what does it look like, kind of, so we can kind of
It's like a little house.
It's like a little house,
and it feels like, like a home area. You walk in, the dining room is right there, everything, and it's pretty cool.
If you know who it is, leave us a comment, por favor.
Yes, once I think about it, I'll comment on
what
there.
What did you like about it?
It's just, it feels homey, and
Feels
of
homey.
course that, and they have so many different hot teas to pick from. So you get to pick whichever one you want, and you get to try different things, because like you said, different teas have different, it helps you with different, things.
It does.
Yeah,
it does help you with different stuff, depending. If you want to get chamomile, if you want to sleep very nice, cinnamon, all kinds of teas. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yes,
so try some tea. I know coffee's amazing too. You know what I'm on right now? Chai tea.
Chai tea is good.
Just not the latte, just the regular one.
regular one.
Latte is good. Don't get me wrong, but just a regular chai
tea.
Man, so
that
spicy and
good.
warm and fussy.
I agree.
Okay. When you want to celebrate, you want to do some accomplishment, whether you landed a great brand or things like that, do you like to dance salsa, merengue, bachata?
Bachata.
Bachatita, okay. And when you hear the word Latino, Latina, what is the very, very first thing that comes to mind to you?
Pretty much just a group of, Latinos that are very a lot of, are very successful people. They push themselves harder to become somebody.
Yeah, we definitely do. Definitely push hard. And we have an example of yourself and many others that this is literally what we come to the country to do. And
Exactly.
follow the dreams that our parents had at one time for us to go further.
Exactly.
So, okay, now, do you care if anybody calls you Latina? Do you mind? Do you prefer Chicana? Because I heard you say that term once or twice on an interview.
I don't
Which
mind.
one do you care?
I don't mind. Either or, Chicana, Latina, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't take any offense on it, in any of it. It's
You know
beautiful.
who you are. You know who you
Exactly.
is. Okay, let's start with the interview. Again, I truly appreciate your time because it is a drive. And you've been doing influencing for a while for people who don't know who you do. And with different labels and different brands and all kinds of stuff. We'll talk about how you got into it. But first, before we get started, as far as you say you're first generation, do you know an interesting story from your parents? What area in Mexico are they from and how they ended up here in the Dallas area?
Yeah. They are from, of course, they came to the United States in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And they're from Estado de Guerrero.
Oh, Guerrero. See?
So both of them are around the same area. And whenever they moved to the United States, they moved into a small town called McGregor, Texas.
Nice.
So out in the country. It was really small town. Now it's grown a little bit, but it's right beside Waco.
Nice.
So that's where we kind of grew up at. They, raised us there, me and my two siblings. Just them just raising us. My dad is a workaholic. Always worked since I can remember.
Do you know if any particular line of work that he did or just different things?
He built trader homes. So that's what he did for so many years. I can't even remember. But I've seen him work so hard. Was like one of my biggest motivations to keep, kind of, I guess you can say, the hustle kicked in for, and I'm the youngest one. And same thing with my siblings. They're the same way, they always try to, pretty much just become better,
Absolutely. What about your mom? What was she into?
My mom, she worked as at a stitching company. So she would stitch, the jackets that have all the name. She would pretty much do all that for colleges and schools and all that. So it was pretty cool seeing her, talk about it all the time and actually bring us jackets home because she would bring us some Leatherman jackets. Yeah.
So man.
Yeah.
I wish I had one. Mine came out of a garage sale, the first one I ever had. Some random thing, but still, I wore that thing like it was neat.
It was cool.
Did they ever share kind of sort of how they got here, their journey? I know, like, for example, my dad left very young because Mexico just wasn't fulfilling the things that he wanted as far as money-wise. So he decided to leave the wrong way, of course. But now we're good. Now we're good. But I don't know if they share any stories. Like, for example, my dad, just crossing the border, the whole journey of just making their way over here.
Yeah. Well, my dad was in the ejército. He did, I think he did like 15 years.
Wow, in Mexico.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So he's a very prideful person. He would always talk about it. But right after that, he decided to leave. When he met my mom, it wasn't even that long when they met, and they just came to the United States. And then within the years, they got everything situated and fixed, and they became residents and then citizens and all that.
Awesome.
But it was a process, and I remember them going through all that when I was young too, and admiring the potential that they had to want to become better and, want to be part of the United States,
When you were little, watching them, was those thoughts already, because they're pretty mature thoughts when you're growing up, is seeing your parents do something and want to be better and strive for more. Do you remember seeing those things?
I remember, of course, the hard work and them, taking like the test and everything. I remember, because I would help my mom and my dad.
Those tests was freaking hard.
Yes, they are. So,
I had to take it because I wasn't born in here. I'm a citizen, but man, not easy.
Yes, and I remember going through it, the questionnaire with my parents, and they just seeing how they tried so hard to, get everything right, and try the best way they could. It was like a admiration, you know. You would see that at a young age and be like, wow.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you feel like, as far as like lack of money wise, that wasn't a thing because they were always hustling? Because I know you on an interview you mentioned that you grew up in South Waco.
Mm-hmm.
How does that landscape over there? For people that don't know about South Waco, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Is it like hoodish? Is it neat? Is it?
It is a little, it has this little hood side.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's funny because when you tell people I'm from South Waco, they're like, oh, okay. You know, like it's a, you know, they kind of look at it as the hood, you know, and the Mexican hood, because there's more, you know, Mexican people that live there versus, you know, other races. And then the school that I grew up in was nothing but Hispanics, you know, and, you know, Mexicans, Chicanos and all that. Yeah. So you could tell what school was what, you know, which race was the most, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's why I grew up more with the Hispanic, you know, community and stuff like that.
When you grew up, you grew up kind of interesting because you were either a little shy or not really too talkative, but some girls might see it, or people in school might see it kind of weird, like you maybe stuck up or whatever. Can you tell me how you experienced during school?
Yes. So that is that's an interesting topic because, yes, I did grow up being judged a lot by the way I looked. I was a very quiet girl, and I loved dressing up all the time. I remember that's one of the main things that people would point out that I would always.
Where did you pick that up from? Where you picked that up from? Your mom, your tia,
I don't know.
somebody?
There was just in me. Like I loved dressing up for, you know, just for the day. Like it was a passion I had.
Nice.
And you know, I would be judged a lot by it because I didn't really speak to people that much, and it wasn't because I was stuck up or anything like that. It was I had really bad anxiety, you know, and I always felt like everything I said or did, I would be judged for it.
Where does that anxiety come from as far as like engaging on a conversation, or like you said, judging? Was there something in the back that you thought they were gonna think about you?
A lot of times it was because either somebody would think, you know, I was pretty, or, you know, and then the judgment would come with girls thinking, oh, you know, like she thinks she's all that and stuff like that. And it would make me afraid to make friends because of the fact that I felt like I was always a target, you know. So it kind of made me always push back and not even really try to make friends because they already had a set, you know, like image of me that they didn't want to break, or, you know.
Did that bring any fights at all whatsoever? Or
it did. It
so
did.
You're tiny.
Yes.
You're 4'11", especially right now with flats. But that actually caused some friction in school, for real. So do you fight often?
No. It caused almost fights. It wasn't like, oh, yeah, like that's what happened all the time. But it's funny, it's funny now. But at that time, I remember the principal would have a desk right beside his desk specifically for me.
Really?
Because he felt like people would always pick on me all the time, and he would feel bad. And every time people would try to start stuff with me, you know, things with me,
of course,
and the security would go and break us up, he would tell me, come on, just sit in my desk and relax and just breathe, you know.
Were you the only girl that this thing was happening to at the time?
I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm not sure.
So, did you feel like it was bullying or kind of? Definitely.
Yeah, I think it was more like girls were envious and they just wanted to target somebody. And because I'm small, and they felt like, oh, let me pick on her, or, you know. And I'm sure there was other reasons that I still don't know of. But, you know, at this point, it is what it is.
Ain't that weird in school at the time when that happens? So, like, what the heck is going on?
Like,
this
why?
is not going to serve you in the future. Looking back, and like, this is none of these is going to, you being whatever it is that you are, this is not going to work in the real world. We are so sheltered even in school, having to just focus on, I think we were bored.
Yeah.
I think we were bored. So, wow, the principal had a desk for you just to kind of sort of make sure that they were good. Yeah. So, were you a kid that was really good in school?
I did.
Awesome.
I did. I loved school. I liked learning things. You know, I was always trying to get, you know, good at my grades. And even at one point, I was an overachiever, you know, but school was so, like, overwhelming that I kind of stopped caring. In my senior year, I stopped. I just wanted to graduate and get out of there. So because of all the drama, I felt like, I just need to get out of here, just graduate with as many credits as I need instead of being advanced. And I kind of dropped from so many classes. Instead of achieving, I just said, okay, this is where I need to be, and graduate and get out of here.
Right. Did it cost you that much of a overwhelming situation with school? Did it not want you to pursue college, or did you ended up going to college?
I did not want to pursue college whenever I left there. I just wanted to graduate and get out of there. Like, my mind was just not wanting to deal with people and school anymore. So at that time, no, I didn't really have any plans to go to college or anything.
At that time, is the social media thing even being an influencer even talked about, looked at all? None of that is still around, right? Okay.
That was back in 2005. So no.
Okay, so you go in, I don't know if you go into the workforce or whatever it is, but did you have kind of sort of like a plan of which direction you want to go since you're not going to go to school?
I pretty much just started working in the medical field. So I started doing like receptionist, and then moving up to just be coordinator and stuff like that. And at one point I worked at Providence, and I was staffing the nurses and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, let's talk about what you do currently. You are 80 something thousand followers on Instagram. You have many subscribers on your YouTube channel. You have a lot of things. You tell me all the numbers. What do you have?
Right now I'm at 5,000 on YouTube. But that's where everything started. YouTube is the one that kind of pushed my whole social media influencing, and all that. I started doing YouTube with finding things to do, like affordable here in Dallas and stuff like that.
Explain that part specifically, because it was very specific, very niche as far as like, and a lot of the times you find that you are in the situation. So if you're going through that, maybe other people can learn from what you got and finding deals, and they can go experience it as well. Were you going through something like that?
Yes. So I have 4 kids. So that financially it was kind of hard to be able to like actually take your kids somewhere where they can enjoy themselves, but not spend too much money either, And of course, financially at that time, I was a stay-home mom. So I didn't really like have the funds to like take them like to Six Flags and stuff like that. So I figured, okay, let's make a channel that would give people idea of things to do that you don't have to spend too much money, you know. So that's where we started the YouTube, the kids, and it was mainly their idea, the girls. The girls are the ones that wanted their own YouTube channel. And then I was like, no, iffy about it because they were young. So we were like, let's just make one for the family. And it went off from there pretty much.
So what does that in your mind at all to want to do videos of that, or because you want to make sure that you don't want to crush their dreams, you're like, okay, let's give it a try and go and see how this goes?
Yeah, it was mainly like me being a mom and being cautious. Like there's so many people that comment on videos that way, and I didn't want them to go through the whole social media type of criticism. So I figured, okay, if anybody criticizes, I can handle it, you know what I mean, versus 2 young girls that are still young. And
did you want to do any content creating at that time for you personally? I know your kids wanted to, but for you, did you see anything that might be potentially some kind of money-driven thing?
That's pretty much what caught my attention the most when I was like, hold on, people actually make money off of YouTube. And then it pushed me more to be like, okay, well, I'm a stay-home mom. Why not make income being at home? So that's where that kind of just pushed me more to pursue that. And yeah, that's where it went off. Yeah.
So doing this whole deal is a big deal, like a video in general, right? Like did you get the camera? Are you using your phone to record everything? And as far as the editing and the intro, because you had some music on it, the videos that I've seen, how did you go approach and actually get into creative? Before you post it, you have to get everything situated.
I did buy like a GoPro camera. That was it's a little small camera. Yeah. And but it did the job. Like I loved it. I still have like 3 of them at home, but I haven't been using them. But that was my main thing. And then I purchased a editing software.
Which
so that's
one was?
Where it was Movavi. It was very, very easy. For people that don't know, like editing and stuff like that, that's one of the ones that I didn't have any trouble using. Like, it was really easy to understand.
Yeah.
So that was my go-to. Yeah.
In the beginning, when you start getting all these videos, because it kind of sort of telling like a movie, right? It's not, everything's not in sequence sometimes, or saying things in sequence. At least for me, I think in sequence, like, I'm gonna record this, and this. That's how I'm gonna post it, right? Even if it's like auto-generated with the templates that TikTok does. That's how I like it. But I don't know, in your mind during that time, were you thinking ahead of how you want to kind of sort of the look to go?
Yes, because I was very like picky at how to edit the videos. I was the main one editing them, and you know, it had to be specific, and it had to be, I guess, just perfect. I guess in my mind.
In your mind, that's what you wanted to see.
Yeah.
Neat.
So.
So immediately, whenever, because you have to have like a particular eye to see certain things that people don't see. Like, for example, there's a chair, but if the chair has flowers and all kinds of little things, oh, this is perfect for a scenery or a picture. Is that kind of sort of how your mind was thinking at that time, or not really?
It was more like, since the videos were more like the family, it was different versus what I do now. Like, now I do see things differently when it comes up to photos and brand deals that I have to, you know, work for and all that. It's different versus just recording things on YouTube, you know, for YouTube.
Take me back to your very first video. You get everything done. All the scenes are done. You edit everything. Is there any nervousness of uploading it on YouTube at all whatsoever?
I don't recall so much of. I just remember it was Eli, my youngest's birthday, and we took him to the medieval times. We took him somewhere else too, but that was like our first video ever, and I just edited real fast. I didn't really have experience on editing much, so I just did a quick edit and submitted it, and that was it.
And how did it do?
It did pretty good.
Yeah?
Like, we started getting views from there, and then it gave me like a thrill, like, oh, let's do another one, and it kept going and going and going.
So you got hooked.
Yeah,
After
pretty
the
much.
first
I
video.
got hooked. Yes. Yeah.
So now that idea still of not thinking of the families that could save something, that you just wanted because your girls wanted something and you want to be safe, so the whole family does something instead. But when does the idea grow into, like, let me do something for other people, other mothers that might be looking for something to do here in the DFW area?
Yeah, so after that, the girls started getting older. The kids in general started getting older, and they got a little shy. And I'm the type that if my kids don't want to be on video, I'm not going to force it.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm very protective of, you know, what they want and stuff like that. So it got to that point, and then I was like, okay, well, then I need to do something for me. I started doing Instagram, and that's when I kind of went off on Instagram doing lifestyle content, you know, creation and all that. And then brands started reaching out, and then it just kept on going.
From your first video to you deciding to go into something for you on Instagram, how much time had passed?
I want to say maybe 2 years.
Yeah. And then you were specifically on that niche as far as like lifestyle and showing people what's going on here in the DFW?
Yes, I stuck to that. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What do you think that, how well was you performing at that time as far as the numbers and engagement for people?
It just, a lot of it, I noticed that people came from YouTube because they would still watch our videos. Even now, people still watch our videos. So it kind of came from that. And then the way Instagram works is like you have to post consistently. And, you know, once you could bring that traffic in and you use the appropriate hashtags and all that, it kind of starts going off on its own. At least in my experience, I feel like, you know, I was getting lucky that way, you know.
Teach me something, because I know that you had talked about it 2 years ago on a video about the hashtag matters. In 2025, still, is it very relevant for you to be able to choose different ones? Because you had talked about using the same hashtag over and over kind of sort of does something to the algorithm. Okay, explain to me about what you learned so far.
So you do have to switch it up, and it always has to be like what exactly you're talking about or what you're posting about, or whatever motivates you, like, or what type of group you're trying to reach.
Gotcha.
I noticed that a lot of my videos with just hashtags, they just go off on it on their own, and I get like so many views, and I'm just like, wow, hold on. And it's the hashtags that you're using, because...
So you go back and look at the analytics to kind of sort of see
what's... Yeah, every post you have insights, and you click on it, you look at your numbers, whichever one does good, I'm like, okay, let me use the same hashtag maybe, or some of them, not all of them, but some of them. And then just keep going like that. And then you just build your own fan base, you know, and then people just keep coming in, and they might not always follow you, but they'll, you know, keep coming back and watching you, you know.
When you posted your first one that you wanted to do something like that, how well was the response? And then how quickly did you decide to just started going up and up and up?
One of the first ones are more like just, I guess I consider it as tests, you know, like I didn't really think that I was going to be a big deal. You know, I thought I was just posting little photos here and there, you know, no big deal. But when I started seeing the numbers go up, and at that time I wasn't crazy about looking at my analytics or anything. I was more like just post and let's see what happens.
Did you go to YouTube University to learn about the algorithm part, or you just kind of sort of heard or saw a video and like, oh, let me dive into the algorithm?
Well, actually, I've learned a lot from marketing. I went to school for business administration and marketing recently. Nice. I graduated in July.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that kind of taught me a lot about, you know, a lot about social media, you know, and how it works, and the things you have to do to be able to, you know, actually stand out or get yourself out there.
Tell us how it works. Break it down right now. Just if you can, to the best of the things that. Okay, so you went to school and you're going through school, but you're actually doing these things. Did any of a sudden all those things kind of merge together? Like, oh my God, I've been doing this whole time. I just didn't know this was this.
Yes, so that's the reason why I decided to go to school. So I figured, okay, there was at one point I was like, okay, let me go back to school and do something with, you know, my life. And then I started thinking, okay, I do social media already. I'm already content creator, influencer. What else can I benefit from it, you know? And then that's when I figured, let me just do marketing, you know? A lot of brands are marketing, you know, agencies, and they reach out to me, they hire me.
Right.
So I was like, well, why can't I just be what they do, you know what I mean? Or do what they do. So that kind of brought an idea, you know, and I started going to school for it. And, you know, like I said, I got my degree. And it just kind of helped me narrow things down and show me the bigger picture of social media, how to, you know, what type of things to post, because, you know, I think a lot of things are what you post, what brings attention, what brings the attention. You know, there's a lot of times that people like things because of how it looks and stuff like that. So picking the right photos or, you know, the content to put out there does make a huge difference, you know.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. We're getting a little bit. I love that, by the way. Thank you so much. Okay, so you start seeing the numbers go up. In the beginning, brands are just sending you free stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel it's kind of cool? Like, oh, my goodness, I get to... Are you thinking money already? Or are you thinking, oh, it's kind of neat that they're giving me free stuff?
Well, at that point, I was looking at it more as the experience. I'm gathering all these free items to post more content. The more content you post, the better, you know, people are going to come in. So that was my main thing back in the day.
So you was working that muscle memory, working that editing, working those skills.
With just gifting and free items and stuff like that. And I remember now when I look back, I'm like, wow, I used to do that. Of course, now I don't. But before, it was good experience. Yeah.
That's awesome that you took it that way, because people were, I mean, one way or another, you have to get those hours in. You have to get those times over and over to do it, right?
Yes.
To be able to be better and get paid for it now.
Exactly.
When is the first brand deal that's willing to pay you? Do you remember who they were and what it was? Because you, again, before we started recording, I said you've done supplements, you've done cars, you've done Walmart things, Target things. I mean, all kinds of neat things that you have, you know. So is there any of the way that you are, as far as you feel it's you that you decide to go with those brands? Never mind. Let me backtrack before I ask that one. The very first brand that paid you. Do you remember who they were?
I don't remember the name of it, but I do remember what it was. It was a clothing brand. So, and I remember, like I said before, it was nothing but gifting. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm worth getting paid. So I stopped that completely. And ever since I got that one paid, that was it. It changed everything for me. And I remember when I got paid, it was decent. And I was like, whoa, they pay me this much. And, it's my first one. Just imagine what, the next ones will be.
Yeah.
So I pretty much went off from there, and I started doing nothing but paid brands after that.
When you talk about paid brands, were they reaching out to you, offering like, no, I'm willing to do this instead? Or were you reaching out to those brands, emailing or whatever? This is what I have, and this is what I can do for you.
A lot of them do reach out to me because the first thing I do every morning is check my emails. So I'm going through my emails, looking and seeing which ones are gonna, be paid. Because there's, businesses that still reach out for gifts and all that. And, that's fine. But if it doesn't fit me or I don't need it, I always just, ignore it. But whenever I got that paid brand, and just I noticed that, yes, they reach out, but it's okay to reach out to businesses as well. So I have like this whole, pretty much I wrote something down, like like the way I reach out.
Like a template?
Like and I keep it, just change it up, but I keep that one all the time. And I email businesses and stuff like that. So.
Awesome. Okay, so now that you get paid, you get excited.
Yeah.
It's super nice.
Extra income
every
time.
Every single time now. So now, again, how many brands do you usually work, let's say, in a monthly basis?
In a month, I'll work with like at least 3 to 4 brands. I try not to do too many sponsorship brands a month because I also know that too much sponsored content is not good for your page. Because when people stop and look at your page, you don't want them to be like, okay, everything's sponsored, everything's probably fake, You want to be natural and put in some, content of yourself as well too, and just blend everything out or even everything out. Yeah.
So it's a funny thing to maneuver, right? Because whenever you're paid sponsored, you're getting paid, but at the same time, if to my understanding is correctly, 10,000K on IG, all of a sudden that opens up a different gateway of getting paid. So you want the money of the thing, but when do you start thinking about that? Like, I can't scare my people away thinking I'm like a walking billboard.
It's just something natural. When you start seeing all these come in, you're like, okay, I can't say yes to everything, so you kind of have to, just see how many, sponsorships are you really willing to take? Because not only is it the amount, it's the work that you're putting in. Like, a lot of it, these are contracts that I have to sign, and they're very specific at what they want to see, what you want to create, what they want to see you create. So it's really hard. It's not something that you can get done in one day unless you're really good at it. But me, I take at least a week to complete a brand.
So let's say I'm a brand and I reach out to you and I'm like, hey, I want my podcast. I want people to see it. Then you go back and tell them what your fees are. And then let's say, okay, we good. We agreed upon. Boom, contract signed. You set the deadline, they set the deadline.
They set the deadline.
So they set a deadline, and now in your ball court, how do you start working it?
I pretty much take a day or so creating. I try to create like a full day of content, and depending on what it is, if it's an item, if it's a location or whatever, I just take my time, just trying to take as much content as I can on my phone, because I use my phone now. And then from there, when I get home, I start editing everything. It takes me sometimes, if not one day, a full second day to do the whole editing and get everything right. Yeah.
Are you still using the same editing, or you on your phone editing?
Everything is on my phone. Everything I do on my phone. So it's a little bit more easier. iPhones are a little bit more easier now to kind of edit and do videos. So it's kind of just, I don't know, I'm just something, there's an app that I use that I don't remember.
CapCut? It's not CapCut.
No, it's not CapCut. Well, there's times I would use.
Internally.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I use CapCut for like my personal videos or whatever, but like for brands, there's another one that I use that it's very old school, because I've been having it for years. Yeah. And, but that's the one that I use for, edit like brands. Yeah.
Were you appreciative doing those early edits of your videos, YouTube, longer format, and now you get to do a smaller video, but
shorter? Yeah, you're right.
Pretty neat.
Because in YouTube, they would be like 20 minutes or so, and Instagram is only like a minute the max is 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I try not to go over that at all. Yeah. So
Cool.
it's easier.
Awesome. When it comes to you and brands that approach you, what you said earlier, what is me, what is not me, what aligns with you, to you, like that you want to align with that particular business? What is it that you're looking for you?
I do look at to see if they're not a pushy business. Like the first thing I notice is the timeline. Like, give me some time to create the content. Don't give me like a 2-day, get everything completed in 2 days.
Right.
Or like, for example, like if a hotel wants to collab with me and they try to only give me one night, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have time to do everything just in one day. I need at least, give me at least 2 nights. I would love 3, but 2 nights is good enough. That way the second day I can go in and try to, shoot as much as I can on my camera and then go from there, and I can edit when I get home, But so I'm specific on the timeline and, of course, on the pay as well. If it's something that they're not trying to offer me for what I'm used to getting paid, I pretty much won't accept it.
Some people get backlash, influencers at times, depending on what the political climate is, or just in general, brand supports somebody that all of a sudden they're not the vibe anymore. Do you ever see some of those things for you to be the decision maker, for you to want to align with that business or not? For example, like Target had it at it for a little while.
Yeah.
So things like that. Does that cross your mind?
It at times, depending on the situation, or it sometimes it will make me think like, okay, do I really want to partner with a brand that has a bad how do you say it, a bad
reputation currently
yes,
right now,
exactly,
because of, let's say, they supported a particular politician and they want to be canceled.
Exactly. Yeah. So it all depends on what it is, and and a lot of times I do try to stay out of politics and all that, or religion and all that. I try to be more independent, with what I do, because I don't really talk about a lot of that stuff in my page, because of the same reason that I don't want to push away other people that have different beliefs.
Gotcha.
So,
as far as so whenever some influencers, it feels like they're selling something, but when I see your stuff, you kind of just sort of going through what you're experiencing with and what other people can kind of sort of experience. Is that what your mind is whenever you're creating that? Because a lot of times it could be like, oh, she's just trying to sell me an experience to be at this hotel. But that's not how you, at least from what I gathered when I saw your stuff, it doesn't seem like that's the approach for you.
Yeah, I try to give people the good experience of places. Don't get me wrong. If I have a bad experience, I probably would be like, okay, y'all, don't, But I try not to be negative.
Yeah, of course.
It's about the positivity of, every business, it's its own business, and they want to show the beauty of whatever they make, or they own, or they have.
Absolutely.
And so I try to see that positive in what they're offering all the time. I do try.
Are you seeing yourself as an entrepreneur now? Or if your first check, you'd be like, dude, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an influencer, I'm doing all this? Or has it grown over time of you doing more and kind of started learning the business of doing the influence part?
Yeah, I do consider myself an independent, influencer, and
an entrepreneur now.
Yes. Yeah. And I do try to, keep doing what I'm doing and stuff like that. But there's times that I don't really want to deal with social media. Like, I turn my phone off and I'm just like, okay, I'm good. Maybe for a couple weeks.
Couple weeks without being on social media?
Yes.
But
it hurts me though.
But you post.
But I post. I usually schedule a lot of my posts. But there's times I just don't want to deal with it. But like I said, it does hurt me a lot. So I try not to.
Okay, is that because it hurts you because you're not being active in the algorithm, or whenever you are in there, are you proactively liking and commenting people's stuff, or not necessarily?
Yes, I do try to support other people. That's like one of the biggest things too. Supporting is always good, because they'll come back to you, they'll check up on you and stuff like that. But when I say hurting, yes, because I'm not active, and there's no. There's still traffic, but not as much as when you post, you bring in traffic. So it does affect, the views and all that.
Why do you want to take a break from social media? It's a little... It's interesting because one wants to post all the time because that's your business. But at the same time, being on it, it's just like you're kind of like the consumer and not the person that's selling. Is that what kind of sort of turns you off, or just whatever is going on and you seeing that is just tiring for you?
It could be overwhelming. Having to be consistent. That's another thing. You have to always keep up with your page and always post and post and post. It can become overwhelming to where you're like, okay, I want a break, you know. That's part of, like, you know, taking care of yourself mentally and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get to that part, so you said something very interesting on a interview about setting certain words to where people can when they try to message you kind of funny business, that it kind of reads the messaging and filters those so that they will never see you. Can you kind of sort of explain that? Because I think I was that gentleman was the first time he ever heard it. I'm the first time I ever heard about it. So how do you do that so people can stay safe and not hear some strange message, especially, you know, being a lady?
There's Instagram has like a settings on there where it allows you, and I'm not sure if it's so many subscribers they add like these new add-ons or whatever,
like features and
features
stuff?
Yeah. So that's something that I noticed that a while back, that I can mute people, especially when they're inappropriate, or you have those weird messages that come through and you're like, okay, well, it blocks it and they just throws it in like a trash bin. I never see them.
Never. Sorry, guys. She never saw you, man. We were fortunate enough that I was on the podcast page that you happen to read my message.
Yes, because we follow each other. Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
But on my personal one, she'll never see my message. I'll be filtered out. What is one of the strangest requests as far as a brand? Because I know, again, you're a very lovely lady. You're very pretty. Some of those brands, especially during the pandemic, OF was very popular as far as money making. Was that ever something that you wanted to kind of sort of do? Was there a particular sponsor that or a brand that kind of reached out to you that it doesn't align to you, but man, the money was really good? It looked really, really good.
I haven't really had anyone offer me anything. I had some weird people offer me money for some crazy stuff, but you know, I'm always like, that or different body parts, and I'm like, okay, hold on,
guys, stop being pervs.
Yeah, but it always gets, I'm just like, no, I just don't have time. I'm financially great, you know, that I'm just like, I'm not desperate, you know, and if people want to do that, that's kudos to them, you know, like I have nothing against the women that do, you know, stuff like that. But
if that comes from your values of growing up the way in the household that you grew up in, and also just knowing that other younger people in your family are watching?
That, and I have, of course, nephews and, you know, people that look up to me, and I'm very big at speaking to the youth, you know, community. I love influencing the youth to become somebody and not just be a pretty face, like actually be somebody. What
does that look like for you whenever you do that out in the community?
It just besides it making me feel good because I'm influencing, you know, a bunch of, you know, young girls. I have daughters too, that, you know, my main goal is to motivate them and push them to become better. So whenever when I meet young girls and, you know, just the youth in general, it just pushes me to, you know, give them that motivation to keep going.
Okay,
so
when you mean that, you mean whenever you're out and about in the world and you get to run to somebody young, you try to be as inspiring as possible and give them some kind words to go forward.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the mental health part, because there's been a thing for me recently with a gentleman that I had, Jesse, that works in providing services for people that need it, dealing with addictions and different stuff like that. So placing them. And then I also had a doctor, a counselor, social worker too, that also does that in Espanol, all Spanish. Norma, they came and talked about her business and all she does, and it's been like a thing coming up as far as the topic of things that happen to be on the podcast. So with you, I know you wanted to talk about it because being on social media and always being and taking a break, all those things are super necessary. But how do you maintain your mental health? What is the things that you do besides the taking a break from the phone a couple of weeks, knowing that it might potentially hurt you a little bit, but you know it's super necessary? What are the things that you do for you?
I do a lot of meditating. I focus a lot on just my mind and just bullying myself. Like the last year, I've learned how to love myself a little bit more, you know, put myself first. I mean, I think as a mom, we kind of let ourselves go and we focus so much on the kids that we forget that we matter, you know, in general. And I'm just speaking mainly for, you know, the moms. I'm sure the dads are the same way. But in my experience, I felt like, you know, we let ourselves go and we kind of just lose ourselves in life. And then we realize, hold on, you know, we got to find ourselves. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to focus on ourselves. And, you know, you start doing little things like that, like meditation. You start taking yourself out. You know, my favorite thing is going out to eat by myself. Like I can sit down and just relax and focus on me and just enjoy, you know, dinner or lunch by myself. And I'm okay with that.
In our community, Latinos, Hispanic, Mexicanos, counseling or seeing a psychiatrist is not really like a thing that we do. Is that something that you thought about talking to? Do you go see? I see one. I'm not just trying to get all your medical records, but I'm saying I go see one because I used to be in the military. I need to talk to somebody that is a professional that can understand different things that are going on with me that I might not understand, right?
Gotcha.
So with you, is that some of the approaches that you took in regards to mental health or not so much?
Actually, I am doing counseling right now. I took the advice of a friend that told me about, you know, therapy and counseling. And you know, like you said, in the Hispanic community, it's like, we don't do that. You know, like, it's not even needed. Like, why are you going to go talk to somebody? And
the Vaporu doesn't work on the mind.
Exactly.
The Vaporu doesn't work on the mind. The 7-Up don't work in the mind. You
so
know?
It was kind of like, wow. But I went for it, you know, and it does help a lot. Like, that's something that I definitely recommend. Yeah.
Was that the battle with you to trying to decide to go see a counselor because we don't do it? Is that the reason why you didn't want to?
Yeah, because you always hear, you know, like you said, it's not going to do nothing for you. Everybody has problems. You just got to deal with it. But at the same time, everybody handles problems differently. And it's okay to get help, you know.
Without going too much into everything, I don't want to hear every single talk you have with the lady or whoever it is. But what is some of the things that you learned by talking to her? Be like, oh, yeah, this is different than just talking to my best friend. Or maybe the bartender, whoever, they kind of sort of understand something different.
Because it's somebody that you don't know. And when you open up and you speak to them, they're listening. They know nothing about you, but they're listening. And it feels good to know that somebody is listening to you. And at the end, they give you their personal opinion by how they view you.
Yeah. One of the other things that I think a lot of people in general counseling is the judgment part. Did that come across you and as well? I'm like, oh yeah, this person's not, because the first thing is, as far as a counselor, the things that I learned is that if we vibe immediately and we kind of sort of get that comfort and then they're not going to judge me type, that's it for me at least.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that pushes people away, like you said. But if you only give it a chance and realize that people are only giving you good advice because, you know, sometimes you got to hear it. I think in the Latino community, we get upset when we're told we're doing something wrong. You know? Yeah. And then and honesty, it's okay. It's okay to hear what you're doing wrong, because if you don't hear it, you're never going to want to change. Yeah. And it's okay to break cycles and stuff like that. So, you know, hearing, you know, her tell me if I'm doing something wrong, when I'm doing something wrong, like, it's okay. Like, I view it as, okay, I need help with that. Let me fix it, you know? Yeah.
So for people that sometimes say that they're struggling with mental health, but they don't really want to do anything about it. I mean, the basics is like you have to maintain, like just like you're posting, you're meditating, right? So you have to kind of sort of do those little things for you. And then the counseling part, that you found that's kind of sort of the things that help you and keep you in a good rhythm.
They actually have helped me a lot. Like, I've seen myself more different. I view things differently. It just kind of being a better mother, too. Like, I've, you know, talked about on my social media about, you know, the things that I went through. Also, you know, being a kid and stuff like that. But being better as a mother, you know, has helped me. Therapy has helped me with that. You know,
if you don't want to share, that's fine. But since you share on social media, what was it that happened your kid that kind of sort of you still have to work as an adult?
Well, one was it because, my parents worked so much and they weren't really there physically too much for us. And I knew, that they're doing what they can. But at the same time, I think it kind of leaves children behind on, with emotional, and actually showing affection to your children. It kind of pushes them to where they have to find that on their own. Yeah, so that was one of my biggest battles growing up, is not really having my parents tell me, the loves you, the I love yous, and the hugs and kisses and stuff like that. It was never really there because we hardly really, saw our parents.
I relate to you because I feel the same way when we were growing up. It's different now. Even when my mom would push me away, give her a bigger hug.
Yeah.
But those things you were thinking about it when you was little. There was something was lacking for you at that time.
Yes. Wow. That was one of the biggest things that I used to struggle with, emotionally and growing up and things like that, and just in general, I feel like I'm not sure if you want me to talk about more, but
if you want to, please.
Okay.
I'm up to whatever you would like to talk about.
Okay.
Por favor.
Well, within right after high school, that's when I didn't go to college, but I feel like I jumped into a relationship right away. I was very young. I was barely 18. And I wasn't the best relationship in the world. I dealt with a lot of abuse and stuff like that. And that kind of, made me kind of just realize that I had father issues because I never really had my father to, teach me I guess, really be there for me. You know what I mean? So those are the battles that I kind of, went through as a first-time mom and stuff like that. And so that's where, my mental health, having to learn how to not be that parent, with my children now, has made me realize and open my eyes how to become a better mother for my children, and not, show any type of trauma that I went through as a child and put that on my kids.
So a lot of those things, sometimes you don't realize because you're going through the moment, life. That's just life in general.
Yeah.
But you don't realize how much of those things you're dragging them along until adulthood, until you realize, okay, something's not right. And then, of course, you just kind of sort of start fixing those things, right?
Exactly. So about a year ago, that's when I started kind of finding myself and loving myself more, and realizing my value as a person in general. And then looking back at everything, and I'm like, hold on, I actually put up with a lot of mess, growing up, and, and it just teaches you kind of like, just find yourself more and realize that, you deserve a lot than what I went through,
I ran into a mother not that long ago that, because it's also a interesting balance, right? So growing up the way we did, sometimes, let's say, not your case, but let's say sometimes we don't have a lot. We're borderline poverty, but we still have food and everything else, right? But sometimes as parents, we went through that, and we don't want our kids to go through that. So we give them everything that they can possibly have without teaching them a lot of life skills and stuff like that, or loving them as much as we can, which is not bad, but sometimes we let them get away with certain things that maybe they should have been disciplined on. Do you ever get to run with those things in your mind as far as for your own kids and kind of find that sweet balance as best as possible?
One thing I don't do to my kids is like discipline, like spank them and stuff like that, because I went through that a lot when I was young. With my parents, that's one thing they did all the time is spank my butt, and I realized that never taught me anything at all. So the way that I discipline my kids is I speak to them and tell them what they're doing wrong, and we sit down and we talk and stuff like that, and I show them a lot of affection too, and tell them that, hey, yeah, you did wrong. At the same time, I'm here, I'm your mom, and I love you. We all make mistakes, and we grow from all those mistakes to become better, You
try to find also a fine line of not over spoiling your kids with giving them pretty much everything they could think of, and thinking that the world is just like that, and all of a sudden the real world is like, no, what are you doing? No, it's not like that.
It is. I've caught myself spoiling them way too much, man. And then I'm like, okay, hold on. You can't spoil them too much. Then they think they can, get whatever they want. And as a mom, as a parent, you want to give them the things that they deserve, but at the same time, it's not really teaching them anything. So you have to limit yourself. Yeah.
Got you. Whenever they see you now doing what you do and growing up, kind of sort of seeing you what you do, what are their thoughts about you being an influencer, still doing things like that, and growing up and, you know, seeing all these things the kids talk about now?
Yeah, I think the girls that are already older, they're 18 already, they are the ones that kind of bring me up a lot more. They're always like, oh, you know, mom's an influencer, you know, like,
that's cool.
You know, they cheer me up. They're always cheering behind me and cheering me on, and they're always pumping me, you know, because they know what I do and they know how far I became and I've came along, you know. And so they're always like my biggest cheerleaders, you know, and I love that they support me so much. Yeah.
I saw one of your highlights that you were you had a course, you had a kind of some marketing course that you were doing not that long ago. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Are you going to do future ones as well?
Yeah. So what I do, besides the influencing and content creation, I have my own marketing course where people can, you know, hire me and I could teach them about social media and stuff like that. So it pretty much tells you exactly what all you need to do to become successful, you know, on social media. If you have a small business or whatever, if you just want to become an influencer. And it just pretty much just helps them, you know, it guides them on how to become successful.
So the years of you from doing the first video editing to the present day of what you learned, you get it into a course and put it so people can kind of sort of get the idea better, eliminating all that time and kind of like mentoring them a little bit. Is it the course, or do you offer any mentorship later on if they want to continue to use you to learn more about the things that you do?
So I do a course. I have everything pretty much written down, you know, to where they can, but then also I do give them a couple days that if they have any questions, if they want to like post something and they're like wondering, am I doing it right? They can always reach out to me and you know, ask me, you know, what do you think about this, or what am I doing wrong, you know? So they do have, the course includes days still, or hours, so many hours that you can still use me for feedback or questions and all that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Okay, so we're running short on time. I don't know if on your way over here, or the message I sent you about some questions that you might have had in mind about things that you wanted to talk about. Is there anything that stands out as far as the things that you wanted to talk about? Any questions or anything?
My main one was the mental health one. And I think we talked about that because that's what I'm going through right now, finding myself and finding peace and you know, just wanting to just find the beauty in life and just, as like I said, and become a better person, a better mother and stuff like that. Like I said, social media can be a little overwhelming and all that, but at the same time, knowing that, you know, being, you know, thankful for what's going on and everything that, you know, is happening right now, just finding the gratitude in life, you know.
That's amazing. What do you think, why being grateful for things in general is a good thing to exercise, to do all the time? Why?
Because it just helps you with just finding happiness and always being in a positive mood. I think people that are positive all the time and have that, I know you can't always be positive every day, but knowing that you can be positive and kind to anyone, it could be a stranger and all that, being thankful and having that in you, being kind and all that helps. It could, you know, you never know what somebody else is going through.
Yeah, the doctor, Norma Garcia, she expressed that whenever she got anxiety, some of the things, if of course her chest, she couldn't take full breath, but some of the things that she saw herself whenever that happened was negative thoughts. So anytime she felt like a little bit of anxiety, the thoughts of negative added more than usual. So she noticed that. It took her years to notice, but it's kind of neat. Like, I don't know, what were you doing when you were feeling anxiety? But it's interesting to know and kind of sort of see your body and be like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, all of a sudden I'm just being not so patient anymore. Like, very easily, like very low patience whenever like anxiety or things like that. Have you ever noticed those things? Yes,
because I remember when I did have bad anxiety, I would think negative and I would be angry, you know. Versus like now, like I'm easily doing this interview with you. Before I would be shaking. I would be so nervous and I don't know. It's a feeling that you have to control or be positive about the situation and not let anxiety control you.
Yeah, you be mad for the random thing. Look at the sun shining so bright. What the heck? Look at this air.
Right.
So crispy.
Yeah, but
before I let you go again, I think we covered pretty much of what the things that you're done. I don't know if there's anything else that you offer as far as the things that you do that people might need to know about. Anything else comes to mind to you?
not anything else that I think we talked about everything pretty much. Yeah, so
that's awesome. Thank you so much once again for being
Thank
here.
you.
I'm probably saying it like 5 times, but I'll say it somewhere. Before I let you go, where can people find you at all your social medias, and if you have any projects coming up as well?
I do have a project with Doritos coming up, so I think that one's pretty cool. But they can find me on Instagram, Vicki Rodríguez 87. YouTube, the videos are still there. I don't really do any videos, but it's called The Never Ever Happy Family, The Rods. Pretty much those are my 2 biggest platforms that I kind of focus on. Besides, Instagram is my biggest, but I still have YouTube. So
before I let you go, because I know I've seen it in a video before, your kid was doing some acting.
Yes.
Was that something that he wanted to do? What was your approach for, because there's all kinds of ways to do it, agencies and things like that. Were you the one that kind of maneuvered that? Did he wanted to be an actor? He trying to act? Is he still pursuing that?
He was. Right now he's not into it anymore, so we kind of let it go. But yes, he was the one that wanted to start doing here and there gigs. And he was at he was in a McDonald's commercial.
For Marble,
yes.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty cool experience, and when he did it, he loved it. He was like, "Oh, I want more." But one thing that kind of stopped me was the fact that, the time, like when they would send gigs and be like, "Hey, we're interested." I didn't really have the time to take him. So that's kind of like a mom-major job, and I couldn't really handle it with me doing my social media and everything else. So we kind of like slowly dropped it and stuff, and he hasn't really brought it up anymore. But if he did, we could get him back. But it's really up to him, and he hasn't really brought it up anymore. And
again, I know I don't want to get too personal, but people that see in this interview might want to know anything about you and your life in general. Anything you want to share at all?
No, just I'm going back to school. I'm getting my bachelor's in leadership. So I'm very big in just getting my education and keep going, so.
Do you like being in school?
I love learning. I love learning something new.
That's cool.
I look at it as social media, but I don't know if it's going to be a forever thing. So I like to have my backup, like right now I have my, degree in marketing, and I'm pursuing and getting my degree in leadership,
The pursuing leadership, what do you want it to lead to? What exactly are you trying to go with that?
To become a director at a hospital one day.
Okay.
That's kind of like what I'm shooting at. I would love to do something
so
like that.
You still do the social media, but you still hold a 9 to 5, a regular type?
At this moment, I do. Yeah. I work at Baylor Scott & White, and, I'm a coordinator there. So it's my 9 to 5. And like I said, social media is my extra income on the side and stuff. But, you never really know what's going to happen, So I try to keep that job there because you never know.
Yeah, and then you got benefits and everything else. And the thing about those type of corporate jobs and things is just you need a degree to keep moving forward if you want to explore other things, because otherwise it's kind of you're stuck at a certain spot and you just can't move anymore if you don't have those particular credentials they want. Yeah. Okay. Any events that you have going on, projects or another? How can people sign up for your course if they want to? You're going to launch another one here soon.
They can sign up through Instagram. Just shoot me a message. Let me know you're interested, and we can work something out. I don't have anything big coming up right now. With the holidays.
The Dorito though is pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm actually waiting to see what they send me, because they send me the item first, then I have to work on it after. We'll see what happens on that, neat. But yeah.
That's pretty cool. Saludos. Any shout outs that you have?
Shout outs. Let me think. To, I guess, all my family in Waco, and also, pretty much all my people in Waco that I have that support me. A lot of them do like to, keep liking my posts and all that. And I do appreciate all the love and support.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. What is an important lesson that you learned doing influencing that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
Just keep going. If you have a dream to become a social media content creator, just post. You never know who is looking at your page. Stuff like that. Yeah,
that's the crazy thing, because people want to get visibility or anything, but you don't put nothing.
Yeah, they're never gonna see you.
They're never gonna see you.
Yeah,
ever gonna see you, bro. So post. Maybe they'll see you as you're watching your phone, watching them, and you just let it pass by, bro. Just post something.
Exactly.
Okay. Usually, sometime throughout my week, my day, my month, I say something along these lines that I heard a while back while meditating and doing all those things. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. Not to scare me or terrorize me, anything like that, but it is a thing in life, right? We're not going to be here forever, but that helps me hurry up and do things. With that, I wish you a very long, prosperous life. However, after everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
You can say just somebody who had motivation, who pushed herself to become somebody, a person that, had nothing but positivity, that influenced or try to influence others in a positive way.
Do your parents ever think of understand what you're doing with social media?
I don't think they do.
They don't get it?
They never really say anything about it. I don't think they really understand. Social media, do they? No. Yeah. Well, no, my mom does, and I don't know what she be doing on there, because older people are like,
my mom be watching recetas and making some new creation.
Yeah. But she be, even when she comments on my stuff, I don't even know what she be saying. I'm like, does she even know what she be commenting, with her emojis or whatever?
Neat. She gives you views, though.
Yeah. And I know that's probably her way of supporting me, and I take whatever she gives me. So.
Somebody told me something that stuck with me recently, that because, again, when we grow up a certain way, kids sometimes look for validation, especially from parents, mom, dad, to be able to know that you're doing a good job or what. You just want to hear it. Just as kids, right? Who doesn't want to appreciate that? But a lot of the times, sometimes you don't hear it growing up. So what happens is that you think that they're not, but they say your parents are always going to be proud of you no matter what is it that you do. They might not know how to express it verbally. They might not know how to say those words, because they, especially if they only have limited education, they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to articulate those particular words and feelings. But they tell me they're always going to be proud of you. Yeah. And that stuck with me, because even as an adult, sometimes I think about those things of, like, does he know what I'm doing? Does my dad? Does my mom? Does But I just know that I'm putting my heart and effort into it. So with that, I keep it in the back of my mind, and I just know they're going to be proud of me.
That's true.
So I think, we are the kids at the end of the day, right? Again, and I'm empathetic as much as possible, knowing, again, with the limited education and certain things that maybe they just don't know.
How to express it.
How to express it. They didn't grow up with it, so they just, so it's up to us to kind of sort of know that they do love us and proud of us, and whenever we can, kind of show them that it's okay to take a hug and say I love you and things like that.
Yeah, they love us from the backstage, you know what I mean, and they show support through there. Yeah.
So Vicki, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, we started following each other. I saw your stuff. I thought it was super neat what you were doing, and I had some micro influencers before, but now I have influencers as well, and I'm like, man, what she's doing is pretty neat. From working with HEB to different things, different brands, Buick, you name it, you probably work with them, and that's amazing to be able to, that they want somebody, because whether they want it or not, products need people like you, people that look like me, to be able to see these things, for our gente to be able to want to purchase these things. They can't beat that. They have to have it, and it's amazing that you're the one that they choose to be able to present their brand and show somebody that can buy this product, they can get this product, and it's okay to do. And without a shadow of doubt, Vicki, you are a global Latin Factor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe right now. Why? You are getting some amazing content, amazing stories, amazing journeys from the Latino community. And once again, you have nothing to lose. And remember, again, we are just like you. We are people. We are the spice and flavor in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time.
Bye.